Thanks for joining us at 10. I'm Mark McPherson. It's Dairy Month in Wisconsin, and as people appreciate the industry for the food it provides and the economic impact, processors and farmers are calling for continued support from lawmakers. WMTV's Tabitha Bland took a trip to a family farm today where the entire dairy process starts.
Well, Mark, it all starts with these guys. Wisconsin is known for its dairy, which is why policymakers are involved in supporting the industry that brings in $50 billion in revenue a year. But right now, processors are pushing for state support through grants and agricultural exports while combating reduced federal funding for the Dairy Innovation Initiative.
My brother and I farm with my dad every single day, and now my brother and I have our own children. We start to think a lot more about the future of this farm.
Sydney Flick manages Jazzy Jerseys.
The tanks that we had out in front, we ship about 5 or 6 of those a week.
That gets shipped out to processors.
Which is 55,000 pounds.
Every dollar a dairy processor receives, they reinvest it in their community.
Rebecca Sweeney with Wisconsin Cheesemakers Association is talking about dollars that come from the government.
We care a lot about what's happening both at the federal level in Washington and what's happening right here in Madison.
Federally, the Dairy Business Innovation Initiative helps create new opportunities.
That could be updates to cheese plants, that could be creating new products. All of these things help us create more Wisconsin dairy products, which in turn means that we have a market for our milk and we can stay viable in the state.
We have real challenges that are on the federal level.
Funding has dropped from $22 million to $8 million this year. Sweeney says there's also work to be done at the state level.
Tomorrow, what we're hoping to see out of joint finance is an increased investment and a continuation of that Wisconsin initiative on agricultural exports.
Working on keeping the Wisconsin name known worldwide.
Our best customers might be here in the US of A right now, but in the future, it might be abroad.
And keeping Wisconsin America's dairyland.
To be able to say that I am a Wisconsin dairy farmer is special.
Now, tomorrow, the Joint Finance Committee will take up the Department of Agriculture and Consumer Protection portions of the budget. They will discuss continuing dairy processor grants at the state level. The other agenda item is the continuation of the Wisconsin Initiative on Agricultural Exports, which would help boost distribution. Live in the studio, Tabitha Bland, WMTV 15 News.
Tabitha, thank you. The Wisconsin Agriculture Coalition has also called on the state to include certain programs in the next budget. They include support for rural infrastructure, farm resilience, innovation, and the workforce.